You're watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome to Betting Weekly Fight Life. I'm your host, Kyle Andrew, joined once again by resident fight expert Paul Hughes. Paul, the UFC is back in the Apex, back in Las Vegas. Fight Night number 110, is it? Is it 110? I think so.
Don't ask me. I think it's more.
It
might be Apex in the 110. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's a lot. Whatever it's in Apex is kind of down, but I know a lot of people are getting down on this card. But if you don't like the main event in this, I just don't think.
Yeah, the main event. There's other stuff. There's actually the main event, and then a couple of really good prelims. I think we were pulling one of those for today's show, and there's a women's fight with huge consequences that somehow ended up on the prelims, and I just would like to know one day when these supposed renovations to this Apex Center are actually going to be completed and all these upgrades. I don't understand how long we've been hearing about this, and I've yet to see a new Apex, and it's kind of weird if you ask me.
Yeah, just have to spend thousands of dollars if you want to go watch it right now. But if they make it bigger, I mean, that'll be better. I guess it'll be better atmosphere. But I kind of like how you hear every single shot in the smaller cage and whatever else. But
we learned that during the world's very famous shutdown that there is some value to being able to hear the sounds a little bit different, but let's not dwell on that. Let's pop into the main card tonight. And we're going to start, of course, as usual, with the main event. This is a good fight. Steve Garcia versus David Onama.
Yeah, this is a brilliant fight. Like, as I was saying in the intro, name value-wise, this probably isn't one of the lesser ones of the year, but this is a banger fight. Like, this is huge implications. 12 and 13 ranked in the division. Both crazy power, kind of shaky chins, get dropped every fight, both of them. And, this is going to be a banger no matter where you cut it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you wonder how this one's going to go down. Garcia's coming into this fight having won 6 straight, 5 of those by knockout. Onama's coming into this fight having won 4 straight, 3 by decision. Onama's never been finished, but he gets hit twice as often as Garcia, give or take. And, again, like you say, the name value to a casual fan isn't there, but people that like watching fights know that this one has crazy potential.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as we said about when you're going in, these both just come in for wars. They both have crazy power, and they're both going to stand there and they're going to throw. I mean, Garcia doesn't really force grappling. Onama might be, because he's like, he can wrestle. He's an insane athlete, by the way. He's one of the best athletes in the UFC, David Onama. Yeah. And one thing I like for Onama in this camp is that he's training with Justin Gaethje, which is like his main partner, which kind of mirrors perfectly Steve Garcia in like a way, but he's just like kind of a bigger version with the striking, the power, the dynamicness of Garcia. I think it's a really good like replica. So obviously there's only so much you can prepare for, it's not like they're going full go on, and Garcia has crazy power, which again, Onama's been dropped in like every fight. And yeah, I think no matter where you cut it, you kind of decide that someone's going to get finished. And the only way I was like thinking about going in on this fight was, I think it's very 50-50. And I think Onama is got the wrestling upside. But then I think if it goes longer, I think Garcia has the cardio upside. So I found it very, very hard to pick a side. I was kind of looking into the overs just in case it was like, I think over 1.5 was like minus 120 at the start of the week. And I was thinking, first main event, the nerves. I mean, Garcia just went to a decision in his last one. They are both not that durable, but, Garcia's been out cold, slept before. But, yeah, I think it's going to be kind of some sort of war. I can imagine someone getting slept pretty early here, and it's hard to find value on this fight, I think.
It is tricky because the lines are very close, kind of right down the, like if you look, the finish odds they're relatively close as well. I think what's interesting about the dynamic of this fight is having it be the main event in a 5-round fight versus I think we talk about this slightly different, maybe if it's 3, but if this fight goes long, it might be very advantageous for Garcia. But it's, again, as you state, how does this fight go long? Like truly, what is the path for that to happen? It's hard to imagine that being the case, and I struggle with this one, to be perfectly honest with you. I have not laid anything on it yet, and this is probably going to be one of those ones that I make a call on the walkout, because I just don't. I have to look into it more. It's very difficult. I'm a slight lean on Garcia right now, but I'm not confident. We discussed this, I'm not super confident on Garcia because, as you say, the athleticism of Onama is just off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning opposite, like gun ahead. I think I'm probably picking Onama. Plus 110, I think if he gets any bigger, you can kind of just bet him just based on how 50-50 the fight is. And it'd be the same if Steve Garcia then flipped to like plus 110, 115, then you could probably bet him as well. So it's that close of a fight. I think it's pretty perfect matchmaking, especially when it's going to be all guns blazing. I wouldn't mind a fly at Onama plus 1,000 for a sub. I think he's pretty live. I mean, he's got 4 subs in his career. I think he's going to get the rest and success of the 2. And I think that's a lot more likely than the decision prop anyways, and that's the same price pretty much. So I think I'd rather be on the submission there. And I think it's an inch of value, but that would be as far as I go. I think this is the first main event where I've not had an official pick since we started the show. So yeah, I'm just happy to pass. I've got something in the insider for anyone who is subscribed to that. But yeah, close fight. I think it's insane variables. David Onama's huge athlete. Garcia probably a bit more powerful, slight advantage on the feet. Onama wrestling upside. I know it's too close to call for me, anyways.
Yeah, as of right now, like I'm the type of bettor that I don't like sitting out main events. I will, but that's why I love you mentioning that plus 1,000 sub, because if anything, I'll just put a sprinkle on that to add a little edge to it. But as a fan, I am thrilled about this fight. As a bettor, I'm a little torn right now, and that's that just is what it is. I am not as torn on the next fight of the night, to be honest with you. And this was my article for the Insider this week: Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ante Delija. Delija, I'm so confused. I messaged a Croatian friend this morning asking for a voice note. She hasn't responded yet, but I think it's Delija. I think it's not a hard J, but either way, I'm looking at him to win this fight because for a lot of reasons, and I'd like to hear your take first, Paul.
I kind of know where you're going to go, so I'll leave that bit to you a bit later, but I think Delija, to start the week, I think he was about plus 110. I think that was a pretty crazy price. I think when you're looking at this fight, how is he truly an underdog? I mean, Cortes-Acosta doesn't really hurt many people at this stage. At this top level, like he's getting a lot of decisions, like razor close. He's not, again, like it's not even like he's hurting them or not just in there not finishing them. It's like he's just not causing damage to his opponents at heavyweight. It's kind of crazy. But Delija in his debut blitz Tabora finished him early. That was great luck for him. And I also think if anyone's going to get the grappling going, I think it's Delija. I think he's got a huge advantage there, in all honesty. So I don't mind. Again, I think he's going to be. Cortes-Acosta is probably the minute winner in the boxing exchanges, but I think Delia's probably live to push him against the fence. What he did to Tabora, get control on the side of the octagon, knees in the clinch, take him down, kind of just make it a bit more of a scrappier fight than Cortes-Acosta wants.
Yeah.
And I think Delia's got the power advantage, so I think he can put him out cold, and I think he can also just ragdoll him around the cage. And yeah, so I think there's a lot more ways for Delija to win than Cortes-Acosta. Probably only path to victory for me is just a boxing fight, which Delija doesn't mix up much. So I don't know. I think I'm happy to be on the Delija side here, anyways.
I'll just quickly summarize my take on this one. When you watch Cortes-Acosta's last fight again that he lost to Pavlovich, and that's a Pavlovich who's on the decline clearly right now. He's not the same guy he once was. Pavlovich was able to push him up against the cage, not literally push him, but keep him near the cage and sort of dictate that he had to fight off of his back foot, which isn't a strength of his particularly, even though he likes to do it. And his punches become long and loopy and kind of telegraphed, trying to get out of that position. And I think Delija, I'm just going to keep calling him both names every time. I think he's quicker to target with his punches. I'm not entirely convinced Cortes-Acosta will. I mean, on a pure boxing technique, yeah, maybe he has an advantage, but I think he telegraphs everything. And I think Delija throws a higher volume, and I think he's better in tight with that volume. Even though Cortes can catch you in tight, I just think you see that looping overhand right all the time coming from him, and I don't think with Delija training in Tom Aspinall's camp right now, he's going to fall for that. And I think he's going to blitz him, and this might only be his second fight in the UFC, but he did have a very successful run in PFL in the heavyweight division there, so he's no stranger to fighting in front of 70 people like he will be in the Apex. But here's the thing. I struggled with this in the newsletter. Like, I wanted to call a finish, but Cortes-Acosta's chin's great for the heavyweight division. Yeah. And until someone chins him, that's the fact of the matter. Like, it's hard to bet that this guy will be the first guy. You know what I mean? He's powerful, but he's not like Francis Ngannou powerful. You know what I'm saying? So I also lean Delija here for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying about him training with Aspinall, like he trains with some of the best heavyweights on the planet, and obviously I think Aspinall's probably the best heavyweight on the planet. So then he's got Bukalskis, used to be a heavyweight, now or one of the ways. Mick Parkin, Phil DeFries, champion of our organization, destroying everyone. Martin Bade, he has so many of these elite heavyweights, which no other place on the planet has, because they kind of sparsed everywhere, the heavyweights, and there's not really a good crop of heavyweights anywhere. So to have all these heavyweights training in the same camp, I think that he's just getting the best training out of anyone he's going to be fighting. I think we know that is just fact. Like, when it comes to his training partners. And again, as you're saying with Cortes-Acosta, he has got an iron chin. That's the thing. But I think Delija, again, I think he can put him out. He's got huge power, and he, again, as I said,
it's the heavyweight division, right?
The cage, landing up against the cage like he did to Tabora. And I think if I was to guess out of it, I think he puts him out. I think he's probably going to hurt him early in round one. I think in round two, he's probably just going to be landing a lot of unanswered shots off the top. That would be my guess. Or maybe that's his late round one. But I think Delia's going to get his grappling going after hurting Cortes-Acosta, and I think he's going to finish him.
Yeah, I think Cortes-Acosta throws a lot of good punches from good angles, but I think a lot of it's telegraphed. And I think Delija's a better fist fighter, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's just like a blitzkrieg. Like, he's just really just all over a guy, and I think that will continue here, and I think he's got the conditioning to go, and this is only a 3-round fight. So did you end up with an official play on this one?
Yeah, I just took Delija to win. I didn't want to take him to finish just because we've talked about the chin of Cortes-Acosta, and he has good cardio and whatnot. He kind of could just be happy to accept being pushed up against the cage.
Sure.
Which I think, it's not a great look. And I think Delija probably has tools to win it wherever it goes, whether it's low output, whether it's high output, whether it's a finish, whether it's a decision. Yeah. So I don't want to overcomplicate it. -128 is a pretty good number in itself, so I'll just take Delija to win.
Yeah, everything you just said echoed what I wrote in the Insider this week, because I also think a finish is totally possible here, but it would be a very uncommon occurrence. Cortes-Acosta's never been finished, right? Is that correct?
I don't believe
so. But he's he hasn't even been wobbled that many times. He has been, but like, he has such an iron chin, it's tough to make that bet. But if someone can do it, could be this guy. But I also went with the safe play as well here, because I just think flat out he's going to actually win this fight. And we keep referencing the Betting Weekly Insider newsletter. If you like what you hear on this show and all of our shows, sign up for that very newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. Paul, this next fight is also quite interesting, and for reasons this one's tricky, right? And the line reflects it. And I'll be honest, I sit here right now, I'm still torn on it. People have been talking about Gorimbo. Sorry, Jeremiah Wells versus Themba Gorimbo, everyone. I'm so stuck on the fact that he got subbed by Vicente Luque, who's he's playing the back nine, and he's maybe even done the round right now. All the hype and potential to me, I don't know. What's your take on this, Paul?
That was one of the world's greatest bets on Luque, just getting his get back. I loved every second of that.
Yeah.
If Wells was like 3 years younger, I think he's an auto bet in this spot. But I think he's getting a bit older and he's on the decline now, which is probably why he's an underdog, which is fair. Yeah. I mean, Wells, great athlete, huge power, explosive. You know, he's got on kind of all the tools to like be competent in this division. And Gorimbo, I think he's kind of just a pace grappler. I don't think he has too much to his game. In all honesty, I think a lot of people like him. I don't know, a lot like him because of the stuff when he's on the come up. You know, the rock bottom of house, and then whatever has happened since. But I think he's got his mindset as well. Did you see the interview he did with the Zimbabwean like podcast or something? He has like a screensaver of like Luque choking him out on the front of his phone. I think it's just like is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? It's like, we don't know
that
how
one
much
could go either way if you ask a therapist.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, and then he lost, and then deletes all his social medias, and while he's in the middle of building libraries for his country, and then comes back, and then he's not doing it anymore. He's focusing on only fighting. And what's going on with Themba Gorimbo, like in the outside of the fight game, like with his mindset and his motivation coming into this. So I think if Wells wasn't as old he is and he hadn't shown decline, I'd be happy to take him. But yeah. I honestly think it's going to be Gorimbo just taking him down and doing nothing with his takedowns.
He's just going to grab. Yeah. That's exactly how it's going to go, or at least could. He's got a tremendous reach advantage, and that's going to allow him to grab him and pull him to the mat and possibly just kind of lay on him.
Yeah.
I maybe, you know, now that we've said this, maybe something crazy is about to happen in this one. Like, honestly, who knows? Who knows? Because of Themba, I just don't know. As you state, where is he at right now? You know, it's not. Is his head in this? Well, we'll know. We'll know on Saturday night, right? This could be a big moment for him if he comes out here and has a big moment and gets a finish and gets it early-ish, first or second round. Then everyone's talking about him again, right? In a favorable light. And some people still are. I don't 100% get it. I need to see more.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Don't really have a strong insights either. Gorimbo's small favorite theme's fine at this stage. Wells plus 110, as I said. Again, if he was early on his career, I think he just wins. But when he's shown clear decline, I'm happy to pass in. Root for Wells, all bets aside.
All right, so that is your official play. On this one is a pass. For whatever reason, the word pass is not coming up this week, but that's fine. It doesn't matter.
That's fine. Oh, They know.
They know. Okay, let's keep moving down the card, but this one is kind of interesting, right? Because as of right now, the fight between Isaac Delgarian and Yadier Delval, the odds are not currently posted. So we're just going to discuss that and not put up the fight board for that. What are your thoughts on this one? You know, Delgarian fought Christian Rodriguez recently, and, you know, he did a pretty good job, and that's a good opponent. How do you feel about these two?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why when we were recording this, the fight kind of just got pulled. We kind of know that Delgarian was in a minus 200 range and Delval was about plus 170 at Bet Rivers, which they'll likely to be open when Bet Rivers post the fight once again.
That also feels like the right numbers too. I think. Yeah. It's. I'm not entirely sure, but it feels good.
No, I think that's pretty correct. I think Delgarian, if you watch him, like he is one of the best round one fighters in the sport. Like he's won every single round one he's been in, and he's dominated every round one. He's 10-8 or almost 10-8 every single one of his opponents in round one. Like he puts pedal to the metal as soon as he comes out there. So I think he'll probably do it again. That's, I mean, if I wasn't going to bet anything in this fight officially, anyways. My name was going to be on Bulgarian, maybe round 1. But the thing I do like Devel if he can stop the wrestling to win all the minutes in the feet. He's a very good boxer. I think both of these are going to go far in the UFC. It's quite a good matchup. 2 prospects fighting at a good time in their careers. But I know Bulgarian's going to dominate round 1. I feel like that's just a given coming at this. And if he can't, then Deval's going to look huge favorite. But I think Deval's going to get taken down. One thing I don't like for Deval is that he jumps guillotine in every single one of his fights. Every single one of his professional fights, he jumps guillotine. And he hasn't got a good guillotine either. Like he jumps it, but it's not great. And then, he has got some sweeps and stuff, but Bulgarian on top of you, he's going to butcher you. So I think if he's going to pull that, he's going to cause himself a lot of damage. And I already think Bulgarian's going to win round 1. So it's going to be tough for me to lay anything here. But Bulgarian round 1 plus 330 if Bet Rivers open it in that range could be a little worth a shout on the night. But yeah, nothing for me in this fight either.
I have essentially I don't trust Delval's grappling defense here. I think it could be the death of him. But I also do not currently have much of a lean on this one. But those lines, they feel right to me. But this is really. Do you think there's any potential for if Delval gets out of the first round a live bet, perhaps?
Especially, definitely.
Like if he's dominated,
he'll be a huge price if he gets out of round 1. And if you think Bulgarian looks like he's fading, you can definitely say maybe plus 350 or bigger or something like that. I think he's live, and if he comes out in round 2 and he stops the takedown early, look at backing him because whilst this is on the feet, this is night and day. This is kind of a grappler versus striker, and if Deval, I think, would probably have the cardio advantage. So if this goes the distance, this could be like a draw type of situation, which could be a fun bet. Bulgarian 10-8 round 1, Deval wins the next 2 rounds. I think it's a fun fight, but if this stays on the feet, I think Deval's going to take over.
Yeah, basically what that comes down to from my end as well is that that's my only note is to look for Delval as a live dog in round 2 based off what happens on round 1. So moving on through that, let's get into the next fight. The show, sorry folks, the show's a little bit all over the place here too. We got Charles Radtke versus Daniel Frunza.
Yeah.
This could be fun.
This has got to be fun.
Yeah. Radtke's lost to really good fighters. Prates, Mike Malott. Frunza comes in off a loss, but was on a 5-fight winning streak before that. However, that was all outside of the UFC. Take that for what it's worth. What are your thoughts here, Paul?
Yeah, this is going to be a war. Both fighters love to stand and trade. Daniel Frunza showed great heart against, was it Rhys McKay, where he got dropped 3 times in a round, and then the doctor stopped it at the end of the first. And he came back and he was pushing a pace while looked on death's door. Like, he was getting hurt in that fight bad. And Radtke, he just got slept, but he only loses against the best. Well, not the best, but the top level in the division. So it's quite a good look for him. I'd like to see him winning, get on the mic again. But I think this fight's going to be a war, and both fighters have kind of shown that they're a bit chinny. And I think in the Frunza fight, if there's a different referee, that could get stopped in the first drop or the second time he's dropped. And Radtke's been, he, as I said, the Mike Malott fight was bad. He gets hurt a lot. Something I looked at here was the over 2.5 was plus 125. The fight go the distance was like plus 150, plus 160. But I think Radtke's the only one who's going to find a sub here, as the odds suggest, and I don't think it's that high. I don't think he's going to push the grappling because he kind of likes being in those wars.
Yeah.
And fight to end by KO minus 130. I think that's a huge price considering fight doesn't go to the decisions like minus 200, minus 225. So fight ends KO minus 130. That's the official play for me on this one. 8 of Radtke's 15 MMA fights have ended in KOs, and 9 of Frunza's 12 have ended in KOs. I think, at this point, we know Frunza's not going to sub anybody. Radtke, if he pushes takedowns, is he going to get it? But again, he's got great ground and pound off top, which I think he'll kind of look to butcher him even if he does get on top. So minus 130 fight ends KO. I was surprised to see this line, and I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, Paul, I have no notes to add to what you just said because to me it's the correct analysis. I just have to say, this is one of my favorite bets to find in all of MMA, because now I just get to sit there and root for a war, and it does not matter who wins.
Yeah.
Like, it's the ultimate bet, and you don't see it at this price very often. I think people should jump on it now. Head over to Bet Rivers and do that, because
best price in the land at Bet Rivers currently.
Yeah, and so hop on this one, because it's going to provide you with the most joy as a fan. Like, on a purely, perfect, I just want someone to be badly hurt. Which isn't the truth. I don't want someone to be badly hurt, but I want to watch a war, and
yeah.
chef's kiss to Bet Rivers. Hopefully we can lock that. I haven't locked that bet in, but I'm going to, because I think that line might move depending on what happens down the board. Okay, we have another asterisk fight here, don't we? Alan Nascimento versus Corey Durden, which at the time of taping right now was actually pulled off the board. We don't know why that is, but we're just going to quickly discuss this fight. If we have any leans and whatnot, not show the regular fight board, and we're adding a prelim fight that will do that too as well, because Paul's got a heavy lean on that. But let's first discuss here. Durden's been finished a lot lately, KO and submission, but somehow went the distance with Josh Van. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Nascimento, big sub threat. I'm personally not sure what to make with all. I didn't get further into it. Why has he had so many canceled fights? Is there a reason for that? Is he injured or something?
Who?
Nascimento, yeah.
I think he's had trouble making the weight. I think he's moved now. He's got. I think he was mentioned he's got a lot better making it now. He's huge for the division.
Yeah.
He's 5'8", which is not like is big, but it's not huge. But he is dense. Like, he's got a lot of mass on him.
Sure.
And something, I think he missed weight in not his last fight, but the one before as well. So obviously it's like something he struggled with. He has had a couple of injuries here and there, but Nascimento is really good, man. He's like among the elite in this division. I think people are starting to finally know. I've took him in his last few fights, and he's cashed nicely for us there. But when it comes to this fight, I was looking at taking a pretty nice position on Nascimento sub. Currently, this has been taken on short notice, which is not so no place has any odds up. Bet Rivers haven't posted the odds for this at the current time, but if it's in that plus 200 or plus 250 range, I think that's an auto bet at this point. Okay. Durden's half of his career he has 8 career losses, half of them are by sub. Nascimento subs 15 wins in his career, and he is one of the best jiu-jitsu artists in MMA. Like, when it's just like pure MMA jiu-jitsu, like, he is one of the best. I think he's a lot bigger, and I think Durden's kind of relies on his pace a lot in fights. And taking this on a week notice, can you really be relying on your pace when Nascimento's going to be hard grappling with you for 15 minutes? I think this is kind of a really bad matchup for Durden, especially with, I think if Nascimento takes us back, I think he's going to find us rather easy. But if this opens again, the plus 200, 250 range, which I expect to do, that would be a bet for me. But if it's anything short, I think you might just pass. But yeah, I think Nascimento's going to win this one. I think he's going to sub Durden.
Okay, that's a pretty good analysis as well too. We'll just look, if you're at home, maybe look out for that sub bet. The lines will eventually get posted, but oftentimes when there's such a short notice made fight like this, they come in a little bit later. And you had one from the prelims you wanted to quickly to discuss as well. Phil Rowe versus Seokyeon Ko.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this?
I originally was going to have a different prelim bet. It was going to be Norma Drummond earlier in the week. She was like minus 130, and now she's up to minus 190. So she's had a lot of money come down on her. But then I looked, this is my second strongest one, and I think Bet Rivers also have the best price in the land on this one. So Seokyeon Ko, he's a very good grappler. He's McGregor-esque on the feet. His shot selection's brilliant. Like, he bounces back, he takes his time, very patient. But as I said, the grappling's where he kind of excels. Great hips, great judo throws, great takedowns, single legs, double legs. He mixes it up everywhere. He was plus 300 in his last fight plus 450 in his last fight against Orban Elliott, 130-27. Plus 300 on the Contender Series, 130-27. He kind of just dominates people. He's been very underrated, and now he's getting to the point where people are rating him. And he's fighting against Phil Rowe here. I think the UFC kind of know what they're doing. I think they realize Seokyeon Ko can actually be pretty good, because Phil Rowe kind of just accepts bottom position, and he's pretty easy to take down in his career. I was reading a stat, I didn't write it down in my notes, sadly, but I think like almost everyone in his career has took him down. Something ridiculous. So, yeah, I think Sung Yuk Ko, he's going to get on top. He's going to land ground and pound, but Phil Rowe's really durable. I think Sung Yuk Ko is going to ride out a decision, whether it's on the feet. I think he's going to win the minutes on the feet, and on the grappling, I think he kind of just takes over and lands ground and pound at will. So Sung Yuk Ko in over 1.5 rounds is my pick on the fight. It was plus 100 a Bet Rivers. So that was the best price in the land at recording. So yeah, Sung Yuk Ko in over 1.5. I think he can get a late finish, or he can go to a decision. I think decision's only plus 160. So I think I'd rather get the late finish on my side as well. So Sung Yuk Ko another 1.5.
Very good, very good. That's a fight worth waiting for on Saturday night. And I just want to quickly put a note about this too, and I think you echo my thoughts on this. The fact that the Ketlin Vieira Norma Dumont fight's not on the main card is a crime, because this is likely a title eliminator fight.
Dumont wins this, she gets a title shot.
Yeah.
So, and I think she does. So I don't know how this isn't on one of the opening fights of the card, just above like Montserrat Ruiz, when these two are like some of the best girls in the UFC. So yeah, it's a shame.
They overlooked this one. That's poor positioning, but who knows? They haven't weighed in yet, so maybe if something happens, it'll get bumped onto the main card for all we know. Like, it's not even the feature prelim, and I think that's for all the crapping people do on the women's divisions at times. This is a good fight, and it's a fight of importance, and it should be on the main card. That is my stance.
The featured prelim is also the worst UFC level fight maybe of all time, but we'll get to that later.
Even I'm looking on their site now, even photographically, it's not good. You want to quickly recap your picks this week, Paul, before we get going?
Yeah, so we have Ante Delija and the co-main, just to win on the money line, minus 128. We have the Radtke Frunza fight to end by KO, minus 130. And then we have Suk Kyung Ko in over 1.5 rounds. That's plus 100. So we have 3 picks on the night. First card without a bet on the main event, which we'll try and keep that streak not alive and have one next week, as you always like a bet on the main event, but it was hard to come up with one this week.
Yeah, and again, as I stated earlier, for me, I'm likely to sprinkle something, maybe take a look at that sub bet, but also just I'm not skipping the main event. I just haven't decided yet, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So on behalf of myself, Kyle Andrew, I was joined by Paul Hughes. This has been another episode of Betting Weekly Fight Life here on the Bet Rivers Network. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Thanks for watching Betting Weekly Fight Life on the Bet Rivers Network.